Okay, everyone. Hey, guys. I wanted to give you an update. Um, so, when you're talking about companies like Live Good, the idea of stretching beyond your comfort zone to say things and do things and suddenly become a top salesman and all those things is not even, shouldn't even factor in. The only thing that should factor in is your health, your wellness, your skin, your ability to breathe, your ability to fight off COVID-19. All these different things should come into play in your mind. It's not just about the money. Money's great, but money and health is just amazing. And so today, I have my celery and apple and a couple other things in there that I got from Nectar. Then I also have my favorite, right? My carrot. And to be honest, I'm just going to say this. I paid $21 for that today. Now, that $21 doesn't kill me. I do have some gift cards and all those kinds of things because I'm a very much so a regular. And the reason why I go there, do I have blenders and things like that at home? Absolutely, I do. I've got a Ninja. What happens with me is I'm so busy and on the go that a lot of times I don't have time to get to the grocery store to pick out the right carrots and all the kind of vegetables and stuff that I need. So rather than, going to some fast food restaurant, I head over there. Now let's just talk real economics. That $21 placed in a business that could help me out in the long run would make the most sense, which I do pay that for Live Good and their products. But I'm not exclusive. And what I mean by that is common sense tells me that because I'm buying these things anyway, and I need those organics in my body, I'd like to get the healthiest versions of everything, right? Because that just makes the most sense. And so Live Good offers me this beautiful opportunity to have those products in my body and to actually still earn an income off of them. So I'm going to drop in the room all my different colognes that are just upstairs. No, they're downstairs in my house. They're not even I got tons more, but these are just the ones that are just sitting in my medicine cabinet doing nothing. And if I actually put a value behind there, I would say most of them are at least $100. I mean, I probably have about $2,000 worth of them just sitting in my cabinet. This is how we become consumers without reason. And unfortunately, in the African American communities and lower income communities and Hispanic communities, we do this without even thinking. It happens all the time. Unfortunately, when I was explaining to you about, say, Live Good, who doesn't want to live good? I mean, it's just common sense. It's in the marketing, in the name. Same thing with Numi. Who doesn't want to be a new version of you? When you combine an organic with Numi's technology, which is Hydrostat Nano, what you get is an exhilarating feeling that money cannot buy. And as a matter of fact, that feeling is worth more than $500, just so you know, if you were wondering. And so when I think about therapeutics, there's some vitamins you can get by IV. You can do that, right? But all of this is just because our bodies are vitamin deficient in America. You're talking 92% of Americans. I mean, this is a crisis situation, which is why I'm saying it the way that I am. And if we do nothing about the crisis, then the increase in the influx of our medical bills, you know why the medical bills actually go up? The whole idea of health and insurance and life insurance and all of that is it's spread among many members. So the only reason why your premiums go up is because we're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. That's the truth. Okay? So the cost of what these services are is what's driving your actual medical cost up, which therefore is a crisis, whether you want to realize it or not. I'm only telling you this because I was an actual insurance guy at one time, so I know this is true. And so we're in this vicious cycle, and we're doing nothing about this vicious cycle, okay? And so the reason why Dr. Stan talks about the art of consumption is basically we're consuming and yet building an economic window or system methodically that brings money back into our pockets, which when we extrapolate that, say by 3,000 people, that becomes a powerful dynamic, a very, very, very powerful dynamic. Never in my life, I always told myself, and I said this to you before, but I might as well be honest. Never in my life did I ever think I was going to get an opportunity to earn a quarter on something that can end up being a football stadium wide. See, if you extrapolate time, say 6 years, 7 years, 8 years down the road, it's very possible one person could have as much as 50,000 people under them, 100,000 people. If you look at what's going on with Chris in Live Good, this gentleman very easily will eventually have 100,000 people on him, getting paid a quarter off all 100,000. It's now gone up to, I don't know, 40, maybe 50 people, close to 50,000 people now that this young man has under him. I mean, he's going to have a load of people. This is just, these numbers are astronomical to even consider, think about, comprehend, or any of those things. And so yesterday we went over how many of those were underneath each one of us. Dr. Stan, Dr. Breakthrough, looked his up. I looked mine up. I had 136 people under me. The system basically is taking the first two that you present, right? And you can build out from there, but the rest of the people are not coming from you. So even in Chris's circumstance, the 22 or 23 people or however many he brought in, only 2 went directly where he put them. Only 2. The rest fell underneath him. Need you to hear that. The rest fell underneath him. So it really was just about being in position, being in the right place at the right time with the right mindset. So what we're suggesting going forward is that every single one of you pay the full 139 to get that out of the way, so you have your whole year paid for, so you can see what this system really is, like a mad scientist. Now, number 2, when I go back to, unfortunately, Mr. Greg Adams, and I pray for him and his family, he was the guy that was the financial guy in my group. He's still in my group, but he's now on medical leave with BNI. Okay. And, you know, health and wellness is not something that Greg really concerned himself with. Why? Because, you know, let's be honest, he's got a beautiful home. He's got a beautiful truck. He's got, you know, the vacation. He pretty much has the American dream. But unfortunately now, you know, he's gone through medical crisis. He's had a stroke. They didn't even really say what the new medical crisis was. He had that stroke about a little over a month ago. And I remember sitting down meeting with him about 3 months ago about his health and wellness. Now, could I have saved him? I don't know. Maybe not. But what didn't save him was his mindset. And that's what I'm here to fight against. I had a good friend. His name was Bernie DeJean. And Bernie found out later in life that he actually had created a situation where now, you know, he had heart complications. And a lot of these guys would just eat meat after meat after meat, right? Because they were making so much money in the car business. You know, Bernie used to own his own dealership, that, you know, he had done so much damage to his heart and cholesterol. So for me, this is a very real part of my life. Now, I know that each one of us will die, and we can look at the ultimate, and but this just happened with DAP Dunbar. You know, they were building just in, and I'm just telling you this stuff because these are people I reached out to say, hey, let's consider health and wellness. Now, they may do that, right? But to me, it's asinine to consider one thing but not consider the whole. And what I mean by that is I'm looking for a total. If I could have my way, this is the truth. If I could have my way, there is nothing I would do, from buying my car to buying my house to buying my drink, whatever it is, vacations, you name it, all of them would be wrapped up in some form of reciprocity where Brian's going to get some money back. Why do you think I love BNI so much? I love BNI because for every exchange that you make, not that that person owes you anything, but if you make a purchase of a piece of property from one of your BNI members, you think when someone is walking around talking about their health and wellness, they're not going to mention you? Exactly. That's why I love it, because it's teaching the right dynamic of society. So in so thinking about that, let's talk about capitalism versus where we are now. You know, basically we're all into this capitalistic thought process, right? And so in the capitalistic thought process, I dominate over you. I become like a king over you. And when I mean that, what I'm saying is, when you think about Louis Vuitton, Saint Laurent, Prada, Coach, any of these people, when is the last time you met any one of their heirs? Have you ever met one of their heirs? No, because that doesn't even factor in. And this is the capitalistic thought process that I'm talking about. Have they ever sent you, did you buy a Coach bag and they sent you a Christmas card? Or they contacted you when your mom or your dad got sick? Or they stopped by the hospital to see if you were okay when you got sick? Or they made a courtesy phone call to you just to check up on you to see how you're doing? That's what's wrong with capitalism. I'm not saying that, hey, I don't believe in it and there's not benefits. No, without it, there'd be no benefits for what we're even doing. But when you're teaching group economics versus capitalism, I want you to think about those things. When's the last time, I'm sitting here in my Porsche, okay? Other than Gaudin Porsche sending me notes about come in for service that's going to benefit them, I don't get calls from them saying, hey, Mr. Roberts, happy birthday. Glad to know you're still breathing. And we got 3 of them. We got 3 of them. I still don't get calls from them saying, Mr. Roberts, we're just so grateful for you and your wife and all the monies that you guys have brought into us. And my kids are thankful. My kids' kids are thankful. No, that doesn't happen. And that's the benefit that you get within our system, within Diamond VIP, with the multiple things that we're doing. Yeah, you get a personal touch. And the day that personal touch stops mattering to you is the day that you lose all feeling in your bones. You hear me? Feeling in your bones. You don't want nobody calling you saying happy birthday, we love you, we're glad you're still breathing, man. You know what I mean? What's going on with your kids? That's what's wrong with America, and that's what's wrong with a lot of countries, is we've lost that personal touch. I have nothing against social media, but at the end of the day, let me know I'm breathing. I'm not an AI bot. That's not who I am. Please quit just talking to me over some system without any want, need, or hope of a personal touch. And that's what Trenton talks about. If you are a terrible salesperson, it is because you've lost the idea of the personal touch. You've put all of the focus on the product or service and none of the focus on the human being. We are human beings. And because we're human beings, we go through very human tendencies, very human things, very human thoughts. It would be like a man trying to date a woman without a feeling in his bones. And he shows up, he put in his nice car, he's handsome, he's got money in his pocket, and he's like, he doesn't even tell her to get in. He just drives up like, you know what to do. Yeah. We would call that abuse, wouldn't we? Exactly. Then stop abusing people that you're calling prospects. They're not prospects. They're people. You don't work for a dealership. These aren't prospects. These are just people. These are just relationships. Get out of that thought process and get into the people process. Because once you get into the people process, guys, you'll explore new heights, greater depths, and deeper heights. God bless.